Welcome back to Two Crows Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Holmes, and for emotional support, I have Jordan.
Hello. I've never been here before.
I've never been here. This is new for you.
This
First
is
time,
new.
first time recording.
Yeah, first time. Well, on this
Okay,
on.
on Two Crows, yes.
Oh well, no, because there was the trauma we talked about
Oh,
our
we
speaking. Well,
did. We had a twofer.
we had two.
Okay, never mind. It's your third time back.
It is.
So today, I decided last minute to record while we were recording a different episode
Mhm.
of Wacky News. My absolutely terrifying dream I had last night.
Which was terrifying.
Which, mind you, I woke up in the middle of the night and I went back to sleep and continued the same dream.
Which, yeah, when that happens, it's
And
when it's a good dream.
it was a
Yeah,
long
yeah.
dream. So it started out where I was just at an event with my children and I started like not remembering things. Like I'd be talking and all of a sudden I couldn't recall a word that I wanted to recall within the story that I was trying to say, and I could not think of the word. And so then my second oldest son told me I should go to the doctor. So I went to the doctor and they did some scans, and it was like real life. Like I felt like the amount of time it would take to do all this stuff.
Oh my God. Okay.
So I went in for scans. I did MRI, a CT scan, and they did some like brain mapping type scan too, where they put like, or like an EEG maybe, or EKG, EEG.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So they did all of that, and then they told me I had early onset Alzheimer's. And then they told me that it was still early and to watch out for certain things. And so time's going by, I'm like taking the kids to things. No one believes me. No one in my family believes me. No one around me believes me. My job doesn't believe me. And they're all just telling me I'm too young, which I've heard my whole life with my medical stuff.
Hmm.
Sorry that it exists. I'm sorry for my age, and I wish that I didn't have these things too. I get it. I'm too young.
Yeah.
So I start like trying to go back to people that I know I would recognize if my brain took me back to, like, I started not remembering the more recent stuff and only remembered stuff from a while ago because that was starting to happen. And in my dream, I would go in and out of knowing what was going on. Like in my dream, I would all of a sudden not know what was going on at all and be stuck and I'd get lost. So I kept getting lost and ending up in different places. And then I would come to and I wouldn't know where I am or who these people around me are because they're strangers. And I would try to find my way back home. But at some of these times, I had gotten like really far from home and had to like figure it out because I didn't have my stuff with me or money. And people thought I was crazy because I told them like what happened and how I got there and that I didn't remember.
Jeez.
So I end up back in California because that's where my family is. And I'm still living on my own with the kids, but somehow affording to do that in California. And because no one would like believe me, even in the medical community, even though my doctor gave me this diagnosis and I had all these scans, like I couldn't get help or support like in the house, in the home, or with the kids or anything. And I was scared. And for some reason, Evelyn was younger than she is, but the rest of the kids were the right ages. But I kept ending up alone with Evelyn. And Evelyn and I was scared of that because I'm like, okay, I don't know if I'm not going to remember who she is because she's my youngest child. And all of a sudden I have this kid with me and I don't know who they are. Um, which kept happening. And then Evelyn would think I was messing with her,
Mhm.
which was really sad. Like when I would come to and she would tell me what happened, I would like start crying. And I woke up
Right.
and my
Oh.
eyes, like around my eyes, I think I was actually crying in my sleep because I had like crusty stuff all around my eyes.
Oh.
So then I somehow ended up, so my kids were in like a summer camp thing. So they were away for a week. And I somehow had one of those moments where I was younger. I was like 10 years old in my mind. Like that's all I could remember was everything up till 10. I knew I was an adult, but I only remembered everything up until 10 years old. And I somehow ended up at my father's house, and my stepmom was there. And my stepmom did not believe me. My stepmom and I do not get along in real life. She did not believe me, and she kept buying everything like grocery wise. Like they weren't going to kick me out or anything. They were going to let me stay there and be like, okay, we're going to take care of you. But she kept buying everything I was allergic to, like on purpose, so I couldn't eat. And I ended
Jeez.
up losing like 70 pounds. Oh, this was over a long period of time. Like this was like I ended up like being stuck at this like 10-year-old mindset for like a while. And so people were taking care of the kids and stuff. And I was stuck at my dad's house and I didn't want to leave. Because at that time when I was 10, I was having a lot of issues with my mom. Um, and so I didn't want to go to her house. So I wanted to stay at my dad's house. And so I ended up losing a bunch of weight because there was nothing I could eat at their house. And so then eventually I came to a little bit and I'm like, where are my kids? And was freaking out. So I went back up to where like my mom's side of the family are, and that's who was watching the kids. And my mom was like, oh, you look so good. I was like, because I lost 70 pounds because I haven't been eating.
Which, by the way, you losing 70 pounds would be no, that would be really bad.
So at the weight I am right now, if I lost 70 pounds, I would be 110 pounds.
Yeah, which is no,
And I'm five
not
foot
not a,
nine. I'm five
yeah,
foot nine. I'm not short.
you
So,
are not short. So no.
um, actually, it'd be less than that. I'm 170. I'm probably less now, but I was 175 like a week and a half ago, and I've lost more weight. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I'd be like under that. I was very, very thin. Also, weird side note, when I was that thin, I lost my boobs, and everyone kept making me still wear my big bras because I had paid so much money for them. So I was wearing these big bras, and my shirts were obviously showing. My bras were like way too big. And I'm like really embarrassed and I don't know what's going on like half the time. And I'm really confused. And I was getting angry because I was so
Right.
confused and no one was helping me. And so I started getting really angry and like not aggressive physically, but like verbally. And so people are getting mad at me for like cussing and like getting angry and telling them like, this is what's freaking going on. And somehow we end up
Right.
at the zoo. And yeah,
Okay.
so we end up at the zoo, the San Diego Zoo, or Wild Animal Park, sorry, the safari park. And I get lost there. And people think that I'm faking it to try to get into where animals are. And because I'm like wandering around like where I'm not supposed to be, trying to find people, like anyone to help me.
Right.
Um, and yeah, so they think that I'm faking it to get into where the animals are. I end up in the hospital um, for them to evaluate me, and I tell them, and they get my records, and they believe me, like what's going on, and I'm like, I need help. And they try to convince my
Right.
family what's going on and that it's not going to get better. And that was the other thing I was trying to come to terms with. This was never going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And I am so confused all the time. And it was very I felt so alone. Like I've never felt so
Yeah.
alone. And then there was times where I was surrounded by people that I would know in my life, but I didn't know them in my dream. And I felt like really alone. These people are trying to convince me I know them, and I'm like, I don't freaking know you. Like,
Yeah.
oh, but it was absolutely terrifying. And it's now one of my biggest fears to like get on early onset Alzheimer's.
Right. I mean, definitely one of my biggest fears. But like,
Yeah, like not remembering Evelyn was probably like the
yeah,
saddest part. And then I
that
felt
would
so guilty, like when I would come to, and then I would know who she was and know that I hurt her by being like, I don't know you, you're not my daughter.
right.
Get away from me.
Yeah, like that's scary, but I mean, at least the good news is you're not alone, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it's not going to happen.
I don't know. I keep forgetting things. I think
We
that's
all
why
forget.
I think that's why this happened is because I keep like forgetting words and like while I'm talking. I don't know if it's anxiety or what it is, but like that's what scared me was like the other day I kept forgetting like I could not think of the words that I was trying to say. And I knew that they were there, but I could not get the word.
I mean, I think that could have a lot to do with anxiety. Like, I'm not a doctor, obviously, but like,
Are you
I
sure?
do that some. I do that too, though, where I'll forget a word, and it's like I just sit there and I'm just blank.
Yeah.
The word is completely left. There's, and then it comes to. I don't know. I think that's a part of neurodivergency, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know, it was scary.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's scary.
yeah, and then it kept happening one day, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe it was the lack of sleep.
I mean, it could have been because you definitely had some days there where you were not sleeping at all.
Mm-mm.
Like,
I would maybe sleep like micro sleep,
yeah.
and I would not get to REM, that's for sure. I was not like I would think I had slept, and I woke up and it had been like 10 minutes since I closed my eyes.
Oh, geez.
And I didn't fall asleep right away when I closed my eyes either. So it's like I barely, and then I kept like jerking, my body kept jerking me awake
Mm-hmm.
for like a week straight. Every time I was like almost asleep, my body would jerk me awake. And that's still happening, but not every time. But yeah, they increased the dose of one of my medications and that started happening. So yeah, that could definitely be why I keep forgetting words. And
Yeah.
they're mostly nouns that I'm forgetting, which is weird.
But well, I think I'd have to really think about it, but I feel like at just
Objects.
right. I just feel like at a base level, we probably have more nouns than we do any other part of speech.
Yeah.
Just because of the wide range of everything a noun could like what person, place, thing, idea, like it's when you
Yeah.
really think about it, I think we probably do have more nouns than anything else. So I think that makes sense.
Okay.
I yeah. I mean that is scary. That's a scary thought.
Maybe I'll mention it at my doctor's appointment on the 19th.
Yeah.
Get
But
my I've had everything scanned but my brain, so
might as well get the brain scan too.
oh, because like they look for plaque buildup in your brain for like
Right.
dementia and Alzheimer's. But I cut out gluten, so that should help.
Exactly. You cut out the gluten and
Okay, I didn't cut out gluten though,
you
because
cut it back.
I cut out all bread.
Hmm.
I have not had bread, or crackers or any of that. I have had beer,
Uh-huh. Yes, yes, yes.
but not a lot. So mainly I drink gluten-free beer because I drink the sours,
Hmm.
and they're gluten-free, or I have apple cider,
Right.
um, which I think is gluten-free.
I believe so. Yeah.
But I did have a queen bee,
Yes. But I mean, of course,
which is not. I don't think it's gluten-free.
no. But I mean, you also don't see. I don't think you have celiac.
I don't.
Celiac.
I don't
Okay.
have celiac. I have a
Celiac.
gluten sensitivity that causes me to be allergic to other things. So with
Okay. Yeah.
with my mast cell activation syndrome, gluten is a acts as a allergen,
Mm,
and
okay.
so it activates the mast cells, and then they think so those get activated thinking I'm having an allergic reaction, and so
Hmm.
it ends up thinking I'm allergic to things like the sun, like randomly I'll be allergic to certain spices or grass or pollen, and it gets worse and worse every year because every time that happens my body gets more reactive to allergens.
Right.
So that's why I'm supposed to cut out gluten, not because I'm allergic to it, but because it causes my body to think it's allergic to it.
Right. Oh,
And I was getting rashes on the backs of my arms, and that stopped after I stopped eating gluten. So
well,
I
that's
guess it's
good at
doing
least.
something.
It's
And
doing something.
my bloating all went away. So
Right.
I lost weight.
Oh, right.
So it's not all bad, I guess. And
It's not all
gluten-free
that
buns are horrible at the grocery store, but they're really good at restaurants.
interesting. Huh.
The restaurants by my house, so two of them have two different gluten-free buns, but both of them are good. Like they stay together. I got some at the grocery store and they're falling apart and like
Ugh.
already are kind of like dry.
Yuck.
I'd rather just have lettuce around my burger.
Ugh. Ugh.
So I've just been doing lettuce wraps at home.
Mmm.
And
Cheese
then
also works as a wrap.
I have seen cheese wraps. That seems greasy.
Yeah, it would definitely be a mess.
And the flatulence.
The flatulence. Yeah, that you definitely don't get from bean burritos. That's for sure.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of flatulence,
Films and flatulence.
if you're not on our Patreon, even the smallest tier, which is $3 a month to support the podcast, gets you our Patreon only episodes, which are us reviewing films,
Yeah.
um, which are both good and bad films. I tell you ahead of time uh, on the Instagram what the films are going to be, so that you can watch them. Most of them should be free to watch. If they're not, we'll let you know. But we try to do mostly free if you have the streaming service to watch the shows. Some of them have ads. We deal with it.
Yeah, and don't be mad at us if we say it doesn't have ads and it has ads because
It
streaming
changes.
rights change so often.
And it depends on your country. So possibly it'll be free in one country and it's not free in another country.
Hmm.
So if you have ExpressVPN, sponsor us,
Oh, there you go.
ExpressVPN. You can choose what country you're going to be in, and you can watch the shows that are on that streaming service from that country.
Right.
So it'll open up a whole variety of shows. When I was in Europe, it had very different shows from when I was here, and there was a
Yeah.
show I was watching when I was in France that I could not find here.
Yeah, I had that happen too with Germany.
Mm-hmm. It was a show about a throuple.
Oh, okay.
I was getting really invested in this show too.
Right.
Uh, and yeah, it was a throuple, and they were having some issues, but they were a thing.
They were a thing.
She was a prostitute. So their third was a
Huh.
prostitute, worker of the night, and
Hmm.
the husband, like their marriage got kind of stale, you know. The husband hired her, but they didn't sleep together. Like he just like wanted to talk.
Okay, interesting.
And then the wife found out about this and then hired her without telling her who she was. And then was like, "Oh,
Oh,
I see what you liked in her." And like then they got together with her.
oh.
I need to find this show. It was funny. It was like called like through I don't know what it
Was
was
it
called.
English language?
Yeah.
Oh, was it like British?
No, I think it was American, but it was
Oh, okay.
but the show wasn't on Netflix here. It was on Netflix there.
Oh,
Weird. It was weird.
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
When you find a show that is, that you like, and then
But yeah,
I guess
I
if you
don't
had a
have Netflix
VPN,
anymore.
right? Well,
Um,
yeah, if you had a VPN though, you could find it.
that's true. I should
Oh,
go over to someone's house. When I was pet sitting, I would watch things on Netflix at their houses when they had Netflix. I was able to watch Wednesday while I was pet sitting.
Wednesday.
Yeah, the Wednesday Addams show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, so that's that. And hopefully I don't have Alzheimer's or dementia.
you don't. You do not.
That was the most terrifying dream.
Oh, absolutely. That's yeah, that would rock me.
Like that was more scary than my like horror, like grotesque dreams.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Oof.
no, that's oof,
Oofta.
oofta.
Yeah, so join our Patreon, like, share, comment, do all the things.
Mhm.
And hello.
Hello, world.
Goodbye. And
Goodbye, world.
crows out.